What's up, my YouTube fam? How you guys doing? Hope you guys are having a great one. It has been a while, hasn't it? I haven't made a video in a while. Last one was like, I don't know, a month ago or something. Aside from the occasional stream highlight clips that I've been uploading to YouTube. And I apologize for that. I haven't really been communicating why I was not active on YouTube. But I've been streaming a lot, like PvP, and it's been going great. So I've been enjoying that a lot. So there'll be a link to my stream as well in the description down below. But like that's what I've been doing lately. So not a lot of YouTube, but a lot more streaming on Twitch. But today we are going to go over like the latest live letter that was just aired on Twitch a couple days ago. Sort of my impressions, what I thought about the PvP changes and all that jazz. I wanted to make a video immediately afterwards, but to be quite honest, I was sort of pretty fucking mad about the changes at the time. I would say I wasn't thinking that straight. So when I woke up in the next morning, I was like, okay, let's start working on the video. But then I thought maybe I'd actually want to like get all the knowledge, like see what the community thinks, whatever. Actually form an opinion, actually see what I actually think about it before I make a video, just ranting and raging about the new changes. But yeah, that's what this video is going to be. It's going to be more of a unedited, uncut, me just ranting, rambling, whatever, and my impressions about what the new PvP changes are going to be, and what I think of them in Stormblood. So with that long fucking talk out of the way, let's go. So what they started out with was a slide that they explained like their general view and their standpoint with the current PvP. So apparently PvP was too requiring for a lot of new players, and players in general, I guess is what they meant, was too requiring on terms of how many actions you needed to press to be viable and actually like good at PvP. And it required too much from players. I don't really agree with that, but I can see where they're coming from. Action points apparently were too much of an edge to veteran players, so that they had that 50 points, actually 48 since we had 2 points extra, but like 50 points to play around with. Whereas obviously new players didn't have any, so they had the vanilla PvP skills, whereas veterans had the upgraded ones. For example, mana draw would only unmodified give you 30% mana, but modified it gave 50%. So that's that. Also, PvP too complex for casuals, both movement wise and skill wise. Seemed daunting is what they said to newcomers. I guess I can agree, but that's like, especially the movement and whatever wise, is like that's supposed to be a thing, you know, like movement and positioning is supposed to be a key thing that a good player does and is like good at and gets that with practice. So I don't know about that. I can't agree with that too much, but like skill wise I can kind of see, because there was a lot of skills that people needed to press in order to be a viable. But that's, in my opinion, what makes MMO PvP interesting, and that's why I personally like MMO PvP, is because it's so complex and there's so many things that you can press and like so many ways of outplaying the opponent and whatever. So there's that. But that's what they started with. So PvP was too requiring on actions, required too much from players. Action points apparently gave too much of an edge to veterans and whatever. PvP was too complex for casuals and well players alike, both movement and skill wise. So what they want to do is reduce all of that to make it less complex, to allow more maneuverability. Also, level restriction is removed from PvP, somewhat. Any job above level 30 can join, and apparently it works so that you get synced up to a level that the PvP mode that you're queuing up to is at. So I'm assuming this also means that they are going to bring up all the current PvP modes to level 70. So that would be that you get scaled up to level 70 if you were, say, like 32 or whatever queuing PvP. It wasn't too clear how exactly the system will work, but that's how I see it and how I've seen a lot of other people perceive it. So that's actually a very good change. I like that a lot because it allows for people to be, newer people to be exposed to PvP a lot earlier, see what it's like, and you know, get sort of an idea what the PvP is at max level, you know. So that was a good change overall. I like that. That was needed, I'd say. PvP attributes also are determined by role now. What, like stats and whatever are determined by role. What I initially thought when they said this was that each role, tanks, melee, DPS, caster, healer, whatever, have their own stat template, but apparently it doesn't work that way. Every single role will have the same amount of health, same amount of mana, and same amount of TP. TP is probably the same 100, not 1000, sorry. But MP is 10k and health is 12.5k. They didn't show any tanks. Would it be weird if tanks were also 12.5k, but I'm assuming every single role is included in this. They said that anyway. So that's interesting. Everyone's gonna have 10k MP. I don't know how I feel about that. That's gonna be weird. I don't know. I don't like the idea of everyone having the exact same stat template. Every role having the same exact stat template. I don't like that idea, to be quite honest with you. And since this is a thing now, any sort of customizability when it comes to your gear is also gone, because gear is only aesthetic now. It has no effect on your stats, your performance whatsoever, which I don't like personally. Why? Is because it removes all customizability and sort of like customizing your gear and stats to your playstyle. I mean, given that the current system, even with like, even if you could customize, it doesn't affect your gameplay that like greatly. So it's not like a huge change at the moment either. Like if you go say Pi to crit versus Pi to spell speed, it's not like the biggest change of all time. But why take that away? I don't really understand the need for that. I mean, for example, WoW, how it does it is however many item levels, I can't remember at the moment, however exact item level you were ahead of someone else, you would get a 0.1% overall stat increase and damage increase or whatever over the other person. So if you were like, I think it's like one item level. So let's say you were 40 item levels above someone, you would give, the system would give you a 4% health or whatever, like damage, like ahead for you, so that you do 4% more damage, have 4% more stats, whatever. Why take that away, really? Like, why take all the customizability away from PvP? That's part of the fun, in my opinion, is to be able to customize your stats, try out different builds, how they work, how they mesh with the current meta, how they affect your performance, you know, that kind of stat crunching and theory crafting. That's part of the fun in any MMO, really. So I don't understand why they just like rip that fucking thing off the PvP and just throw it in the bin, like no more customization. Everyone's gonna be the same health, everyone's gonna have the same mana, everyone's gonna have the same TP, everything was gonna have the exact same everything. So there's that. I don't agree with that change, but that's what is coming in the upcoming changes. Next thing that they covered was that there's going to be PvP hotbars for each and every role. So that is like fucking 5 thumbs up. I don't have 5 thumbs, but if I had, I would put all of them up. 5 thumbs up, really. So that's a very good change. I like that. So then we get into the part where the community went completely fucking ballistic, myself included, at the start. And yeah, let's get into it. All PvP actions are now PvP specific. What that means is that there will be no carryover from PvE as far as actions go. So no PvE actions in PvP. Obviously, the new skills are going to be the same-ish actions that we have in PvE, but they're going to be PvP, like modified to PvP. No, they work that way exclusively in PvP. Okay, so how many actions do we have? 9 plus 2 selectable ones. Let's say my initial reaction was blind rage. I'd say didn't like this change at all at the start. 11 actions in total, so nine basic ones like that are for you, vanilla, and then 2 selectable ones plus LB. I can see why they did this, because to be quite honest, like 75% of the time, what the actions you would use wouldn't really exceed like 15 actions anyway, like right now, as far as PvP goes. But then there were the niche actions that would be very situation specific, but in those specific situations, they allowed a lot of outplay of your opponent, and what else, you know? So part of what I liked, like I said before, about MMO PvP is the fact that you have a lot of skills that you can use in a lot of different situations that might not happen often, but when those situations do happen, you can actually, if your knowledge of the class and your team is like deep enough, you can use those skills to outplay your opponent quite significantly. So that's what I've always enjoyed about MMO PvP. I don't really like how they're taking that away. But then again, I can see why they did this change, and like they said, it allows for adjustments for just PvP without affecting PvE. Which, yes, was sort of needed, I guess, and is healthier for the overall PvP and PvE balance. But I don't see how that's that big of a point, as right now, for example, we do have skills that function differently in PvE. For example, sleeps that last shorter amounts, Dark Knight, AoE, aggro skill in PvE, also binds in PvP. But I guess what they're mainly talking about here is potencies in terms of skills or whatever, because I don't think any skill in the game has a different potency in PvP than it does in PvE. And I think that's how the system functions, so that it doesn't let you change the potencies to be specific in PvP and then be something else entirely in PvE. So I guess that's what they're talking about. So I understand where they're coming from, and I do think this is healthier for the game. But I just personally don't like the change too much. Obviously, I'll see how it is and whatever when the Stormblood actually comes around. Also, we'll have automatically changing combos, or you'll have 2 buttons that you, for example, melee, and I'm assuming tanks as well. You have 2 automatically changing combos, so that one button does one combo. It changes when you press it once. It automatically goes to the next combo action, and so on and so forth. So you'll have one combo that does 4 different actions, and the second combo that does 4 different actions. It wasn't exactly clear on the stream whether if you can change the positions of those combo actions in the string. I'd assume not, but I don't know if that will be a nice little customization aspect in the system. In my opinion, that would be nice, but I don't think that's gonna be a thing. It sort of like seems to work. The combo seems to work like Blade and Soul, if anyone's played that, but without any options in those combo paths. So if you start a combo, you are exactly going to do those 4 specific actions. No other options within those combos. So either start the combo, finish it, or you drop the combo and probably do no damage at all, or probably deal less damage overall. So you have no options. So you're set on a combo path, and you either follow it through or you just suck. I assume is how it works. I don't like that too much. I like at least a couple passing options within those combos. Not just you need to do these 4 actions, then you can do something else or start another combo, but you need to do those 4 actions before you can start another combo string. So, not the biggest fan of that, but it saves hotbar space, so I do like that change. Wish they'd do that for PvE, honestly, as well. But I mean, they also in the stream they said this system, it has options in it so that you can do something technical with the combos, or you can choose to do a quick burst with it. With the current information that we have right now, I don't see how that's going to be possible, since you have those 4 combos and you're going to do those no matter what. How is it going to be any faster? I guess all the off global cooldowns that you have are going to play into that. So I guess that's what they're talking about, but I don't really see how they can affect the burst / technicality of the gameplay that much so that you would have as big of an impact on the decision making and options as they make it seem that you have. But I guess we'll have to wait and see for that. So the 2 selectable actions, like I said in the beginning, 9 actions per job and 2 actions that you can select out of a specific list for each job / role. Those 7 actions on the screen, they showed Dragoon only, which is kind of unfortunate. It would have been super nice to see how Ayla's, for example, work, or what other jobs like Black Mage or Tanks even function, but they only showed Dragoon. But those 2 selectable actions are, for example, Dragoons out of 7 possible actions that you can choose from. Kind of hard to say what sort of options are available there, but we'll see. Passive abilities as well, / traits is I guess what they're talking about, which are also like you can make a choice which one you take. There's the same way as 2 selectable abilities. You have a certain set list that you choose 3 passive traits / passive abilities from. For example, there was a Reddit post that actually translated all of those, and one of them was like 5% more health, was it 25% more health? I can't remember exactly, but also like recast speed, movement speed, I think was one of them. It was like 3% or whatever. Healing buff, like 5% more healing, and stuff like that. So those are the kind of passive abilities or traits that you can pick up, and 3 of those. To recap, it's 9 actions per job, 2 selectable actions out of a set list, plus LB. Then you'll have 3 passive abilities / traits that you can choose out of a set list, again, specified by a role. And all of these are PvP specific. They are not, they don't function the same way in PvE. There are of course skills from PvE, the combos that you know, but they function differently in PvP, and you don't have any access to your PvP abilities. So that's kind of like the recap of what's changing in that system. Overall, I don't like the fact that they're taking so many skills away from us, because it does sort of lower the skill ceiling quite a bit, I'd say. Kind of hard to say since I haven't obviously tested the system, but it lowers the skill ceiling while heightening the skill floor. So I can definitely see why they did this change, because right now, someone who was very low on the skill floor, was very new to PvP, was practically useless in a match. While the veterans had a very good, or like a big edge on those people because they had more knowledge, more experience, or whatever. Which I personally like, because it gives, in my honest opinion, it gives people like something to strive for. They see this one guy just absolutely destroying people left and right, and they're just like, I want to be that guy. But I don't know if that's healthy overall. But let's move on to the next section, or next part, which is like my thoughts, sort of, on all of this. What's going through my head when I saw these changes? What's going through my head right now? What do I think of these things? Well, overall, even if we're getting less skills, like the 11 skills that we're getting, compared to whatever 35 abilities we would have right now available to us at any moment, overall, I still feel like the main things that separate a good player from a bad player are still going to be there, which spatial awareness, your own positioning, where to stand at what point in the match, how to position yourself as a healer, as a tank, as a melee DPS if you want to kill someone, your movement in general, like line of sighting and all that stuff. Situational awareness is also a big thing. Target swaps, when to do them, how to do them effectively, how to catch the enemy off guard. Stun timings, if there are any. That's one thing that I didn't actually mention, was that stuns, silences weren't even mentioned, but stuns weren't anywhere to be seen. Spine Shadow Drive from Dragoon, that was as an example, as one of the PvP actions, didn't actually have a stun in it anymore. So that's interesting. Also, Dragoons didn't have a stun on their bars anywhere, or in their skills. I didn't see any in the selectable actions either. So that's going to be quite interesting if stuns are completely taken out of PvP, like no stuns at all. It might also be just a tank thing. We'll have to wait and see on that, and more information on the system changes. But stuns apparently weren't a thing for whatever reason. But situational awareness, stun timings. So if there are any. So and then the last thing, kind of like overall coordination with your team. Noticing when they pop their now like 1 or 2 cooldowns that they might have. Notice when they're actually going for those like kill moments, when they're actually trying to kill someone. So overall coordination with the team. Those 3 things are, I'd say, still the most important things for a good PvP player to perform well, and I don't think that's going to go away even with this change and we're having less skills. There's still that aspect. If you don't master all of these, you're still going to suck, even if you had 35 actions or 11 actions. However, I do feel like we've gone from the exact other end of the spectrum, which is like super complex system with so many niche skills for so many niche situations. We're gone to the exact opposite end of the spectrum, which is like overly simplified. Not a lot of thought put into how you're using your skills, just how you're like moving around and maneuverability in the match itself, like how you're positioned and whatever, and how you play with your team. I think that's overly simplified. So I think we've gone from the exact opposite end to the exact, other end. So somewhat of a middle ground would have been nice, but we'll see how it works out. Then again, to be quite fair, when the system is simple, it is much easier to balance. It is much easier to rework. It is much easier to add more abilities, take away abilities that are overpowered, whatever. Like, if someone is missing something very crucial from their kit, you can very easily implement it when the kits themselves are very simple. and when the system is sort of simple. Um, and I mean, for this to actually be a thing, they actually need to start regularly seeing how the PvP is, what the current meta is, and do changes on a regular basis. So even if the system is simple and you can easily change it, if they don't change it, it doesn't really matter. So I hope that with this change and that they are giving themselves more sort of wiggle room than with the current system, they will actually focus on making those changes that are needed. Not this 0.5 like multiplier potency decrease per expansion on between the eyes. That was I don't even want to talk about it. Yep, let's go. Because the amount of adjustment in Heaven's Word doesn't give me hope that the devs will actually give more attention or like enough attention and adjust PvP often enough to make it balanced and whatever. Because like I said, we've had literally, I'd say I can count the amount of class balance things we've had over Heaven's Word has been like, I can count them with one hand, you know. So the meta has been the exact same for the whole expansion. So even if they had a little wiggle room with the current system, and they couldn't really affect it or change it too much without affecting the PvE balance or whatever, there was still no transparency as far as PvP went. Like, they didn't at any point say, okay, this is why we cannot change the PvP specific things. All they said was just some random random off comments or side comments here and there, be like, well, it's hard to balance because PvE balance might become at risk, and that's it. You know, there was no transparency whatsoever. Why they're not changing things? Why they're letting things be the exact same for 3 patches? You know. So I think that needs to change. Like the transparency on communicating to your community about what's going on, balance-wise, and what the sort of future plans are. Because you know, something like why something hasn't changed and why something has been changed. Explanations to those, like there needs to be more transparency, because if you want to have a successful PvP mode slash well, just PvP community and PvP environment, whether if balancing is executed or not, you know, and especially since they're apparently shooting for esports, Yoshi P has been talking about it a lot, like aiming to get Final Fantasy XIV into esports scene, which I think is kind of a ridiculous plan with how the current PvP is. But I guess the new changes will change that. We'll see, but I still think it's for a bit of a long shot. But yeah, like if they actually want PvP to be successful, and whether if balancing is actually executed or not, there needs to be transparency from the devs to the players about what's going on and why. And this really hasn't been done before. Like, there has been no transparency, I'd say, from the devs to the players about what's going on in the PvP balancing and PvP, like, overall changes to it. Which I think is very important if you want to have a successful PvP scene and especially esports scene. You need to be transparent with these changes and communicate to your community a lot. But how things have gone so far, it doesn't give me much hope, but I am hopeful in that sense that they will actually change how they do things and how they operate with PvP in mind. Also, what was absent from this live letter and wasn't addressed at all with these changes or otherwise was one of the most glaring problems with Final Fantasy XIV's PvP, and that's matchmaking, which has been, I'd say, quite atrocious with the past 2 seasons, seasons 3 and 4. And how it's worked so far in 3 and 4, season 3 and 4, has been that you get matched up with players. If you're, for example, a diver, you get matched up. Let's start from the beginning. If you get matched up with people that are within 2 divisions from you. So if you are a gold player, you will get matched up with diamonds that are 2 ranks ahead of you. You get matched up with platinums that are 1 rank ahead of you. We'll match up with golds, obviously, that are same rank as you. You'll get matched up with silvers that are 1 rank below you, and then bronze, which is 2 ranks below you. So you'll get 2 ranks either below you or above you. Unranked players would get matched up with silver players at tops, and diamond players will get ranked up with platinums, diamonds, and gold people. And okay, what's the issue here? So, because right now with the current point system that has been going on with seasons 3 and 4, it is so easy, so absolutely easy to get into gold that along the way, if you're completely new, you don't even learn majority of the skills and the awareness and whatever to be a good PvP player to actually start competing with diamond people. So once you get matched up with them, you're like outmatched as hell, and you don't like understand all of the intricacies of the meta, intricacies of like how to use your class most effectively and whatever, because you gain more points, like a lot more points than you gain until you hit something like platinum. So as long as you keep somewhat of a win ratio at some point or get lucky with matchmaking, you'll reach gold by no time. Like if you play actively, I'd say 4 days, 5 days, maybe even week tops, you know. And if you just started PvP recently, you don't learn anything in that time. So you getting matched up, if you just reached congrats, you just won your gold qualifiers, you got into gold. Now you get matched up with diamond players, which are basically some of the best people on the data center. How is that fair? How does that make any sense? You know? Now you might say that I might sound a bit elitist here, but and there are quite details like there's quite a lot of people reaching even platinum diamond who should probably not be there. But let's not go into that. I don't want to really cause any drama or whatever. But you as a gold who just got your qualifiers through, get matched up with some of the best players on the data center. But you can't really compete with them. So the new player will be left feeling useless, and sort of like, okay, I'm getting fucking space stomped here, or my team is space stomping, and I don't know why, you know, because they don't understand they don't yet understand how the mode fully works, and all the intricacies and whatever. And the diamond players, or even platinum players, will be left frustrated because there was this one person, there's 2 people, or whatever, in the match that were like, seemed like they were completely clueless and weren't contributing at all, you know? It's frustrating for both parties. So I'm very worried about, well, not very worried, but like, obviously I hope there will changes for 4.0, but the matchmaking has been less than stellar, let's just say. You can't have new-ish players get matched up with some of the best people in the data center, you know? Sure, you'll get a lot of matches if you do it that way. Because there'll be a lot more people getting queued up with each other. But those matches aren't fun for the most part for the people who are participating in those matches. Even if you get a lot of matches, if 5 to 10% of your matches, which is on average for me personally, you left the match without being frustrated, you know, 5 to 10%. Out of whatever 375 matches that I've had this season, for example, 5 to 10% of those matches I've left with feeling like, okay, we did the best we could, but we got outplayed, and let's try better next time. But the rest, I feel like, you know, this one person just absolutely fucked up the whole match, And I don't want to feel like, or sound like I'm an asshole or anything, but it's just because that person, during the time that they have been ranking up to gold, has not learned the essential things to actually contribute into those high quality or high level matches so that they actually be useful. So you can't really blame them in a sense, because they'll get matched up with those people, or in those higher skill matches, whether if they want it or not. It's sad to think that that many of that some of the top players' matches are that frustrating because some of the newer players get matched up with us. Um, so that is one of the most glaring issues that PvP is currently facing, and I don't think it should be that way. I'd rather take a system where we have less games going on, but those games are actually fun, for all of the participating parties, and they actually like maybe teach the people something new. For example, if only gold and silver people play together, they'd probably be much well, like much better skill range for those kinds of player to get better in in an environment where there's similar skilled people playing. You know. So that was an address in the live letter, and I really hope that is going to change in the expansion because that's one of the like most problematic things about Final Fantasy XIV's PvP, I'd say. But also, I'd like to. This tilts me to no end, to be quite honest with you. So I was watching the stream, and obviously the PvP we had our little own group chat for PvPers, but I went into the general chat when the PvP section started, just to see what the general consensus, general opinion would be on PvP. And what I saw just, it makes me sad. It really does make me sad. I mean, fucking come on, it's Twitch chat. It's obviously gonna be full of fucking memes every single moment. So there's that, it's Twitch chat. What do you expect, really? But what was going on throughout the whole PvP section was quite sad, actually. Like it actually makes me sort of depressed to see so many people be so incredibly negative about PvP, whatever it was, you know. PvP, whatever, PvP this, but this, delete PvP. Like, for example, let's like, I've got a couple of like example comments. I mean, fucking Twitch comment examples, which what am I even doing right now? But like, yeah, sure, let's use development time on PvP, something that like 3 people play. Yeah, sure, let's do that. You really think that development time that is going into PvP is actually going to give you something like a 5th boss on Omega? Like, get a grip. It's not gonna happen. So I still don't understand why this is a talking point. I mean, it's been a talking for Diadem as well. Why do we waste development time on Diadem? But like, the wasted dev time is not going to bring you any significant amount of quality PvE content that you guys glorify so much. So just chill out with that, guys. Please, come on. Another one like that was going on throughout the whole fucking PvP section was delete PvP. Of course, some of it was a joke. It's Twitch chat. It's always memes and shit. But it does reflect an overall opinion that the community does have about PvE, which is not very rare. It is actually quite common. And I think that's quite sad. Like, sure, it's a small part of the community that actually enjoys PvP and does it seriously. And sorry, sure, it's niche. But why do people feel the need to actually go into like, just say like, delete this part of the game that some people actually enjoy when it's not actually hurting? Aside from development time wasted on it, it doesn't hurt you guys in any way. Like, it's just a fucking delete PvE. I don't get this. It honestly makes me sort of depressed about this sort of state of the opinion of the community about PvP. And also, that was quite often in the chat was, oh my god, nobody cares about PvPs. Just stop this section, man. mean, yeah, there you have it. Like the just like something that I wanted to point out, and something that I want to sort of like get attention to is like, can we just stop flaming PvP, whatever it is, wherever it is, whenever it's mentioned? Can we stop saying that, delete it and whatever? If you don't care about PvP, uh, then just, you know, don't play it. Don't pay mind to it. Why do you need to? Why do you feel the need to act like fucking flame anyone or any anything that has to do with, you know, PvP? It's sort of fucking mind boggling to me. It's almost sort of like a toxic opinion, but let's not go into that too much. It's just like, if you don't care about PvP, let it slide, you know? The devs obviously want to push it a lot and want people to enjoy it. So, you know, let them maybe do their thing and let them, like, bring out their vision instead of just being, nah, I don't like this system, delete it, nah, you know? Like, just something that I was extremely bugged by. Let's just say that. So that's kind of like what I think about this. All the changes, whatever. It was kind of like all over the place. I think it reflects what I still think about these changes. I still haven't formed like a proper opinion yet. I'm still in the working process of actually processing all the information, what it could mean for the players, what it could mean for the devs and whatever. So I think this video sort of reflects that, what kind of a state I'm in with in terms of my opinion on all of this. So it was sort of like all over the place video, but I tried to make it as cohesive and as like clearly sectioned as possible. Hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, it was all over the place. I'm sorry about that. I tried to make it as cohesive as possible. But also, I will be making a video about the future of this channel, sort of what I'm doing right now, and sort of what I'll be doing when Stormblood hits, very soon-ish. I'll try at least. I'm kind of busy with work right now. But I'll try to get that video so you'll know what to expect from me and this channel and my streaming and whatever in the near future when Stormblood hits and this time in between. So look forward to that video. I guess that's it for this video. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like if you thought it was sort of thought-inducing, sparking conversation or whatever. And share with anyone who you like feel like is sort of fucking triggered about these changes, whatever, you know. Just share it with the community. Share some love or share some hate in this respect, because the community is quite ballistic about these changes, which is quite funny, but yeah. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video or on my streams. So hope you guys have a great one, and I will see you in the next video. See ya, people.